Hello, my name is Free Happy Dolphin, and I'm sharing the second of three-part series on tips for company heroes free. Since everyone right now is focused on productivity, I decided to merge this tips video with our usual pro play series. So that means that in the background you will see a battle between two top players. Miguel playing Americans and Orange Pest with Germans. Both of them play new battle groups on a new map, so I hope you enjoy it as much as tips. The first step of a series is take control. Let me explain. Without resource management, the RTS genre is really about being in more places at the same time than your opponent in order to win. If you play purely by instinct, you are missing one very important battlefield: fight for attention. Keeping in mind what your opponent will be forced to pay attention to can help you win many interactions and ultimately win the battle. For example, planning a three-way attack and synchronizing can lead to better results even against stronger armies, since your opponent simply cannot react to everything optimally. On top of that, by implementing a plan automatically, you will be also able to react more efficiently yourself, while opponent is less likely to shift attention to any other important actions besides this battle. So you always want to take control of attention, which will allow you to control the flow of the game, not just react, but actively steer the game in your favor and win. Second tip: manual construction. A short but crucial tip that will pay dividends throughout the entire match, or if ignored, put you at a disadvantage. If you just double click building icons for construction, well, yes, it will make it fast, but it also will place them close to your headquarters, which is not ideal. On the other hand, what would benefit you more is manually placing buildings as close to the front line as possible. Sometimes it's even possible to build halfway on the base's border. By doing this, you will minimize units' travel time, and if you think this is too minor of detail to bother with, I can assure you that, as in all RTS games, every little detail adds up and ultimately leads to victory. Third tip: shape the battlefield. This comes especially important since the last 2.0 patch, where building fortifications time was cut dramatically. How would you use this depends on what you do already. Maybe for you, an improvement would be start using sandbags for cover or denying enemy cover with fires. Maybe you already do that, but float a lot of munitions without planting mines. Or maybe you do plant mines, but don't use optimal placements. For example, vehicles generally prefer roads for speed, so placing mines at an intersection can be effective. On the other hand, if you want to trap capping units, placing mines inside the cap point is ideal, because they are most likely to be there. However, if you don't control the territory, place the mines just halfway outside of capture circle, otherwise your opponent will see you planting. Other strong placements include retreat paths from houses or directly at its entrance, forcing retreating enemies into the blast. Maybe you are already skilled and your opponents try to dodge mines because they know the best locations. In that case, think about where they will try to evade the trap and build those mines there. Ultimately, it still comes down to experimenting yourself and finding what works, but the most important thing is just start shaping the battlefield and you will notice the results. Fourth tip: know the map. As we've already discussed, in high pressure situations where you have to split your attention, the best thing you can do is have a pre-made plan. Every map has a weak and valuable points like cutoffs or high resource territories. I will give you a few examples to improve your play. For example, on the Twin Beaches, it's valuable to know that if you control the beach side, even though it may seem that you're giving really high value hill fuel and giving up a half of the map, you are actually winning. With the fuel near your base, you control 30 compared to your opponent's 20, a counterintuitive but a real advantage. Another one, on Patina Steelmate, when playing from the south side, it's much easier to cut off your opponent from the fuel and other resources, but if you don't pay attention, you might fall behind in fuel. How? Well, there is the fuel that can be stolen and connected without needing any other territories, while it cannot cannot be done from your side, so it's not really intuitively clear. Knowing these and other details in advance can easily turn the tide of the battle, so always research and know the map. Next tip, be annoying. As much as it seems like a bad manners, but it's not. It's really just another way of finding optimal place. Even if it doesn't lead to immediate victories, small annoyances like spreading enemy formations by running cutting card through them or other scouting units, or blocking retreat paths to secure kills can frustrate your enemy and drain their mental resources. Later, this frustration can lead to mistakes or slower reaction times, and when you think about it, at the highest levels of competition in many different fields, outcome is usually decided by pure psychology. The sixth tip is hotkeys. While this isn't the most impactful controls tip in the series, that one is in the third part, it's still important. I will recommend you these 3 steps to massively improve your speed in the game. First, go through the hotkey settings at least once. Just read them and you'll be surprised of how many options can make you faster, like selecting all infantry, all vehicles, or all idle units. So I think you will find something surprising and useful for you in a game. Second, write down fresh or rarely used hotkeys on a piece of paper and keep them near your screen. This will help you to remember and practice it in the real heat of battle. And the third, force yourself to use hotkeys. If hotkey exists, well, you have no excuse to not use it because it makes you faster. I know it takes practice and it's hard at the start, but it pays really big benefits in this genre. If you think but this is not really crucial, I will assure that even if you make mistakes and make the same mistakes, doing those mistakes in lightning speed will still improve your rating and make your opponent's game tough. And the last tip before the bonus one actually is don't be lazy. Everything counts. If you take away only one thing from this video, let it be this: every single small detail that you do but your opponent doesn't brings you closer to your victory. So do everything you can. Place mines, build sandbags, set up wires, and even manually position your units at the capture point's side after you cap to get few extra seconds before you reach next cap point. These actions will quickly become second nature, but they're truly making difference. And finally, the bonus tip: team weapons. This is a helpful but again counterintuitive tip. If you have a chance, consider not setting up your team weapons right away. Why? Well, because oftentimes you may need to reposition them quickly, like AT guns, or you may be unsure where the enemy will attack from. So by not setting them up immediately, you can retreat faster and not lose manpower. Also, you're excluding possibility of being flanked since you can't set up those immediately. So of course, this will require a bit more attention for a specific unit, but for example, if you're likely to change position once you spot the enemy, skipping the setup phase makes you twice as fast because you don't need to unset and set again. So these are all tips for today on Company Viewers Free. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you don't want to miss the next part, and also check out the first one if you haven't seen it. This was Free Happy Love, and see you next time.